consequences, potential risks, hazards, whatever of that may be, go for it. You want to have a fleet of autonomous vehicles chauffeuring people from place to place in a city, clogging up traffic, maybe getting into a couple of, accidents. No one can stop you. That's the whole point. Does this bill also prohibit regulations against AI, CP/deepfakes? Presumably, yeah. Those laws would have to come out at a federal level, which, to be fair, recently a law against those things went out federally. But yeah, no, it completely strips states of the ability to pass any legislation to protect themselves against the harmful effects of AI, unregulated proliferation of this technology. The potential consequences of it could be apocalyptic. Genuinely. I mean, for instance, one of the big things that people might look to regulate is how could any state stop Palantir? Like Palantir's data aggregation, we mostly talk about it in the context of them assembling data federally, which we couldn't really stop through state legislation. But Palantir is going to be pulling data from states as well, local surveillance or communicating with state Medicaid providers, right? That data, they're going to pull that data for you too. States would have no ability to protect themselves. Democracy Now! Has a minute-long video that went out an hour ago. I appreciate you appealing to my bias, both to brevity and immediacy. That's very, very, very good of you. It all comes together in the same way. Much that Bitcoin was initially sold, or not Bitcoin, but like cryptocurrency in general, was sold initially as this like stick-it-to-the-man decentralized financial network. What it has turned out to be in reality is an unregulated playground for oligarchs who represent like a significant portion of the investors. Likewise, AI was pitched as this like, remember how much propaganda was pushed out early on that AI art was great because it democratized the skill of drawing? Now anyone can draw, you know? The initial marketing pitch for AI was, well, now everyone has a universe of knowledge and skill at their fingertips. This empowers everyone. But in reality, the purpose of AI is and always has been to make more money for the people who already have money. There is no other purpose to this tech. It has no liberatory purpose. There's no use case for it that improves the world. It exists to hurt people and to make a lot of money, which it will. And it was all trained on stolen data. Oh, yeah, by the way, states won't be able to regulate against that either. Good luck with that.
The Trump administration has tapped Palantir, the data mining company founded by the billionaire tech investor Peter Thiel, to compile data on people in the United States for a master database, including a new $30 million contract with ICE to provide near real-time visibility into migrant movements as it seeks to arrest 3,000 people a day.
Just a few months ago, we started hearing about databases within DHS and IRS, SSA, across government being linked together. We've learned that it seems as if this is a process to mix data from government agencies that immigrants often report to, so IRS and tax data, all these kinds of things that can track their most recent addresses and things like that. So the Palantir process with its software foundry basically becomes the window for all of this data.
And states won't be able to regulate against it. Ooh, more Palantir content. It all ties together, is the point. Paragraph 1 may not be construed to prohibit the enforcement of any law or regulation, the primary purpose and effect of which is to remove legal impediments to or facilitate the development of or operation of an artificial intelligence model, system, or automated decision-making. I like that the bill specifically says, like, listen, you cannot pass state laws that regulate AI in any way, unless the regulations allow for more AI, remove legal impediments, or facilitate the deployment of. That's it. That's the caveat, okay? That's the context in which you get to do that. Phenomenal stuff, really. You can tell they let the AI write this. The One Big Beautiful Bill was written by the most evil people in the world. And the Trump administration, or at least most of the Trump administration, is in all likelihood probably not aware of most of its contents. Trump does not know about this. Trump doesn't know anything, right? The Republican voter doesn't know anything. Incredibly, we have actually managed to subdivide the Republican Party to the point where we have found groups that are more evil than others. Like, again, like we already had this inner group of nihilistic, misanthropic Nazis who are stripping the country bare because they can, because they want to. But there is actually a group of people more evil than them. People who aren't doing this for personal accolades or wealth, but people who want to not just replace democracy, but essentially institute a permanent totalitarian state in a way that benefits no one. I think I've said this before, but like the real point of 1984 that nobody got, because nobody actually reads 1984, they just like sort of absorb the information in it through cultural osmosis, is the fact that the point of power is to hurt people, and that divides in power are more important than the raw empirical enjoyment of life the powerful get to experience. Or what's the real life application of that? You know, the most wretched white man would suffer injury if he could be convinced a black man would suffer twice the injury. It's essentially that. So that's cool.
GOP spending bill could put a moratorium on state-level AI laws for 10 years.
That would be perhaps okay if the federal government, Congress, actually could pass a law to ensure consumers are protected, but they've been incapable of doing that on privacy in general.
Indiana lawmakers on an AI task force say they're concerned the proposal could unravel several laws the state has passed, including one requiring campaign ad disclaimers if AI is used, and another that updated the state's revenge porn law to include AI-generated content.
All gone.
This simple footnote that they're proposing would undo all of those laws. That would really be quite devastating, I think.
It's very defeating.
Angela Tipton successfully advocated for an update to Indiana's revenge porn law after a former student created and shared a digitally altered image with Tipton's face edited in.
What's the plan? Because it's an incredible disservice if they decide to roll things backwards.
In response, 40 attorneys general signed a letter expressing opposition to the proposal, including Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita.
Well, too bad you're just a state official. Speaking of that divide, because I expect that this whole AI Palantir business is going to cause a lot of kerfuffle in the right, because true MAGA believers are not going to go for this. And like, this isn't really part of what Trump has promised them. They haven't been keyed in on this. They haven't been rhetorically prepped for this, right? They're here to be racist, xenophobic, so on and so forth, you know. But this, like, you must all submit to the AI overlords, to big tech. Like, this isn't really part of the narrative package that they've been given. It's kind of the opposite of the narrative package, because if anything, it's basically in the one big beautiful bill, and what Palantir is doing right now, you're essentially getting the what if Bill Gates microchipped you with a COVID vaccine and used it to regulate your life, but in real life. Like, what all of that, like, schizo Bill Gates / Soros is going to use crazy futuristic tech to control everyone, shit, 5G towers turning the frogs gay or whatever that stuff, you know? It's happening. They're already spinning it as a way to track illegal immigrants. I mean, that is what the technology has been used for with Palantir. But it's worth noting, I still have not seen any serious endorsement of this program from MAGA. I think that because most of them are weak and spineless, they will end up accepting this if they get to, like, terrorize trans kids along with it. But I do think it's going to lead to some meaningful breaks. At least that's my hope. Included in the group of people who are not resisting the Palantir takeover, from Alex Jones on Twitter. Exclusive, Alex Jones responds to the Palantir hysteria and lays out what's really happening.
Everybody's asking me about Palantir. And when you look at it and you understand it, Palantir and the surveillance systems and the AI and all of it has been an outlier from the bigger companies. And it's been wanting to get big contracts, and Trump wants to use it to track illegal aliens and stuff, and the real ID that they're trying to bring in that's terrible, that never got implemented because it's unconstitutional. So I've been critical of all of that, and I obviously don't trust Palantir and the rest of the stuff it's doing. But it is small compared to all the other big AI and the Pentagon Sentinel and all the rest of it. The reason you're seeing the attacks on it everywhere is because it's trying to get contracts that other big tech companies already have, and because Palantir has been supportive of Trump. And so, yeah, Trump is going to them because they've been supporters. But all this hype about Palantir, all of these systems can be used for control. All these systems are out of control.
Pretty difficult to spin a defense of it, right? Nobody's buying this, by the way. Obviously, he's a shadow of his former self in terms of popularity, but all of the talk that I've heard of this has been, like, negatively directed towards him. Imagine being an Alex Jones viewer, like a dedicated fan for a decade, and then you wake up and he's explaining why Palantir, the company that just bought access to your federal data and wants to use it to track you illegally, as admitted by the people who run it, actually isn't a big deal.
All the AIs are woke.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise